from Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 in all the Filipino shows in the Midwest. And I'm Joe Mauricio. Today we have all the top stories from Chicago and the Philippines. We also have our segment host, Veronica, interesting interviews with Melody Rabor Dizon, our Health Matters host, and Joe Mauricio, myself. And I would like to introduce to you Janet Jordy, our new host from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, introducing her Global Inspirations interviews. We also have happening within our own Filipino community here in Chicago. All these are coming up and more from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
I find it so unfair that we women have to go out every day in fear of being catcalled, in fear of dressing a certain way and getting called out for the way we're dressed.
Backlash continues for his supposed red baiting of several people, including Filipino actress Liza Soberano. But Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade Jr. refuses to apologize.
I never said anything about Liza Soberano being part of Gabriela. I never said anything about Liza Soberano being part of a terrorist organization. What we're saying is that they should avoid these organizations.
Instead, the spokesperson of the Philippines' Task Force Against Communist Insurgency insists that Gabriela is a terrorist organization with ties to the local communist movement.
Gabriela Youth is a legal front organization, and that's the reason why it's called front, because meron sila mga ginagawa underground.
It's an allegation denied by the Gabriela party list, as it claims that government is targeting the group because it wants the party list out of Congress. Gabriela is under the left-wing Makabayan bloc in the House of Representatives. As for Soberano, the actress remains unfazed.
Please know that Ms. Soberano will continue to exercise her constitutionally protected right to free speech and expression without fear nor restraint from anyone.
But Soberano wasn't the only celebrity mentioned. 2018 Miss Universe Catriona Gray was also warned by Parlade, something Gray's camp condemned. The third celebrity mentioned was actress Angel Locsin. Parlade insinuates that Locsin knows about the Gabriela Group's illegal activities because Ka Ella Colmenares, who he claims is a member of the NPA, was actually Locsin's sister.
That's not red tagging. That's just informing the public that a member of the underground organization is also associated with, of course, her sister.
Locsin firmly denied that she or her sister were members of the NPA. She reminded critics that just because people had views different from government doesn't give government the right to red bait them. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said he would now call a meeting with Parlade and the task force to better manage the issue. He warned them to stop publicly branding people as communists or terrorists without presenting evidence. AFP Chief of Staff General Gilbert Gapay, meanwhile, said that while it was true that the Communist Party was still actively recruiting new members, he saw nothing wrong in Soberano's participation in the Women's Forum.
Kung wala kang ebidensya, do not talk about it. Huwag kang magpunta sa media or Facebook. Hindi mo naman pwedeng lahat na. Yung shotgun ka o gano'n na everybody. So be selective. And dapat may ebidensya tayo.
Kung sa ginawa nila isa na pag-participate dun sa activity nila, wala kayong nakikitang mali?
Wala naman. Sabi ko nga, it's okay. As long as we advance, advocacies for the betterment of our society, of our country, okay yan. Basta please don't bear arms and don't resort to violence.
For the Philippines' Commission on Human Rights, Parlade's remarks are tantamount to harassment and a form of suppression to discourage people from speaking up for their beliefs and advocacies. In the new anti-terror law, the state has the right to arrest persons without a warrant and detain them between 14 to 24 days if they are so much as suspected of being involved in or supporting acts of terrorism. Legal experts have been fighting to have this law repealed for being unconstitutional because they say this puts at risk even those whose only intent is to express their dissent against the government.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica segment of the show. Today, I have a very exciting guest. And most of you, I think, will find him quite familiar because my guest is a regular columnist writing for Via Times. He writes Immigration Law Corner. And also he used to write for another Filipino publication that has recently folded up for the Philippine Weekly. And his name is Attorney Richard Henus. Hi, Richard. How are you?
Welcome. Hi, Veronica. Thanks for having me on today. Thank you for having me on today, and thanks for that beautiful introduction.
It's my honor, and Richard, I'm really honored that I was able to invite you and interview you for this show. And now there will be more openings for you anytime that you want to relay some messages, immigration messages to our community. Now, Richard, my first question is about immigration, of course. Well, how is the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, how has it affected the immigration processing that you've been handling?
Yeah, there's a variety of different contexts. For people who are in the U.S. and undergoing a process or trying to facilitate the immigration of overseas family or employees, much of the process and much of the system is working as it should, albeit at a slower pace, maybe because of staffing issues, maybe for other reasons, but the processes are working. It's just that as a general matter, things have slowed down considerably. There are aspects of different immigration processes in the states that really haven't been impacted, but overall, I think the tone that people can expect, the theme is slower.
Well, I guess it's slower is because of the lockdowns. There's lockdowns all over the world, not only in between the Philippines and the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it plays out in different contexts. So for example, in the States, you have the staffing of these offices, citizenship and immigration services offices. It depends on employees coming to work or working remotely. You're talking about the local offices that conduct interviews for green cards or citizenship. They have to really slow down or at least decrease the number of people and the amount of traffic coming through. And as far as overseas, many people know there is a presidential proclamation that has shut down most aspects of visa processing in the U.S. and in U.S. consular posts abroad albeit there are exceptions to the general rule of a shutdown. But overall, it's been, things are slower, and there is at least signs of life of things getting back to normal, at least in the past couple months, as it relates to local offices and people, you know, who are undergoing green card processing or citizenship will want to know, and perhaps your viewers do want to know about that, and I can get into that a little bit.
So far, what is the latest news outside the United States as far as immigration is concerned? The lineup of people outside the U.S. Embassy, etc.
Yeah, so most people are going to find obstacles to coming here in terms of if they need a visa. One of the big exceptions to the ban or the presidential proclamation banning visa issuance, one of them is spouses of U.S. citizens. Other types of categories that are being allowed in are workers who are going to be doing things related to healthcare and treatment of COVID, or in other areas that are deemed in the national interest. So overseas, I think there are just so many barriers to getting into a U.S. embassy or consulate for an interview. Staffing, like anywhere else, and in people's workplaces, is significantly decreased just for purposes of public health. Then, at least, and then in the States, again, the same kind of stuff. Although you're seeing things move along here in terms of interviews for people who are undergoing green cards here, citizenship here, oath ceremonies, fingerprinting, asylum process. But overseas,
yeah,
it's really slowed down, if not come to a halt, and it's unclear when things will pick up again. And I think much of it depends on things like vaccines and the public health, the assessment of what kind of dangers the pandemic presents.
So far, do you think the outcome, or there is the positive outlook for immigration will be the same or better after the election?
So that's an interesting question. It depends how you define positive. I think there's just a lot of nervous people, and especially people, let's say, who are in the States trying to obtain an immigration benefit such as green card or citizenship. I have faith in our system that the law will be applied and the law is enacted by our Congress. The question just comes in whether the courts have to get involved. So I think the election will present some interesting contrasts and results. And I think that there's a certain style to this president and the way the law has been applied versus others. And, it depends who you talk to. I was just thinking about the people who are working at the U.S. Immigration Service offices around the country. I give them a lot of credit because they roll with the punches. They're career civil servants through administration to administration. And so, listen, life goes on. Our society goes on no matter who's president. We're a country of laws. And so my hope is that we will continue, or at least strive toward fair application of the law, humane application of the law, and people getting benefits, whether green card, citizenship, or other types of immigration benefits when it's deserving under the law.
Very good. Well, immigration laws really change like any other laws here in this country. Since I came here, it has changed so much. So, and I always compare when the first time I came here and what the laws are, have changed to, I don't know if I would call it for the better or for worse or what. But so far, the talk of town is about the immigration laws on the undocumented immigrants. And that is really very interesting and always developing news every so often. So what can you say about it?
Yeah, it's been a rather sensitive political football being kicked around, and for the people who are experiencing it here, not so much political football as just a really uncertain and anxious life. And what I can say is that people who are here undocumented and they are caught by immigration have an opportunity, generally speaking, to be heard by an immigration judge. And if they've been here for an extended period and maybe have started families and have US citizen or permanent resident relatives in their nuclear family and are otherwise law-abiding, there are opportunities to defend in a deportation. It's among various options. So in general, the 12 million or 11 million or 13 million, depending on which number you go with, they've been waiting for some sort of legislative solution, some sort of fix. And over time, it's really been something that hasn't happened just because of the political forces. People who are undocumented still will have a chance to defend in a deportation by and large. What's going to happen in the future, no one knows. I think the majority of people in our country, I think, favor a path to legalization for those who don't present serious criminal issues and are otherwise have the prospect of contributing. Deporting 12 million undocumented or starting proceedings listen, it's an option. The law's been broken, and one could say, well, you can't profit off of that. But on the other hand, as a practical matter, if we're only absorbing the people that are otherwise law-abiding and can contribute, I think there's a practical solution that I think is the likely one that's going to happen, rather than investing billions and billions of dollars to deport people who are otherwise contributing in our society. There is a new development relating to individuals who've been here less than 2 years, and mainly those who've come without visas. And there's a program that's been recently announced by ICE that will be implemented where they can remove those individuals in an expedited summary fashion without a hearing before a judge, if it's been within the past 2 years that they've entered without a visa. And in those situations, those individuals are not entitled to a hearing before a judge. So one of the practical pieces of advice I can just give anybody who's here undocumented and wants to have a hearing before a judge is, if you can keep some set of documents just to show you've been here, you entered legally, and maybe that you've been here for more than a couple of years, whatever that might consist of, a few pieces of paper, because you want to be able to not sacrifice your right to a hearing, and you want to be able to respond appropriately to anyone who approaches you, which is preferably, listen, I don't know how and a law enforcement person can just go up to someone and start to ask about their immigration status. That will be a kind of a crazy situation given our constitutional safeguards. But people who've been here for less than 2 years, or excuse me, for more than 2 years, are advised, keep with you documentation, something to show that you've been present here, so that you aren't vulnerable to at least being placed on a pipeline for such a summary proceeding.
What good advice can you give to these people?
Well, you want to definitely know that there are rights that individuals have to defend against removal, especially if you're not subject to the summary removal proceedings, the expedited removal proceedings. If you're afraid to go back to your home country, or if you have family here and you've got ties here that go on 10 years or more, that you have otherwise a clean criminal record, I think that the chances of getting caught up by this are slim. I mean, if there's 12 million undocumented, law enforcement has to cast a very wide net on that. So my advice is, don't do anything. Don't start investing in an immigration solution unless you've consulted a professional, because unfortunately there are not a ton of solutions out there for the 12 million, because otherwise probably they would have accessed it. The reason there's 12 million undocumented isn't because these individuals forgot to file something or necessarily ignorant of a right. It's just that there is no avenue right now to go and convert their status, to legalize their status, as there have been in recent years, different programs. That is, of course, unless you're married to a citizen or you're the parent of a US citizen, but by and large, the options to go and legalize your status just don't exist. And that's, I think, the big question facing our society, and it is quite the potent political football, as you well know, Veronica.
What is your successful rate with your clientele?
Well, if you're judging success based on, is it a pleasant experience meeting me? It's always 100%. People tell me it's quite pleasant. As to my success as a professional, I'm generally, I like to think that I never failed to give honest assessments. And in terms of the projects I'm hired to perform, I have a rate that I'm quite proud of, and that there's a reason I've been doing what I've been doing since 1992-ish. So I think that I'm still doing this, and that I've been able to help many members of many communities, I think speaks, it can answer, is the answer to that question.
Very good. Well, Richard, we're running out of time. I think we're going overtime already. With this
Time flies when I'm talking to you. When I talk to you, Veronica, time flies.
Correct. Okay, tell our viewing audience where to get hold of you, all your contact information. I know
Thank you, Veronica. So I'm Richard Hanus, Hanus. My website is www.usavisa.council. So USA Visa Council, COUNSEL.com, or Google Richard Hanus. I have offices downtown Chicago, Elgin, and Waukegan. My phone number is 312-357-0033, or you can reach me through my website and follow me on Twitter at USA Visa Council. I think that pretty much covers.
Terrific. Thank you, Richard. Maraming salamat sa iyo. Can you say salamat?
Salamat, and thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be talking to you today.
All right. Thank you for gracing our show today. At maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica segment of the show today. I have a very exciting, interesting, young person who will be talking to us about her involvement in politics. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to our show, which is the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, or Cprtv. Michelle, I invited you today to talk about the Mikvah Challenge, and never heard of Mikvah Challenge before this, and I know this is about involvement and participation by young people like you in politics, which is a good thing. What can you please explain to our viewing audience about the Mikvah Challenge?
So basically, Mikvah Challenge organization is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization located in several states of America. They are very dedicated to teaching youth about civic engagement and providing a political education to them so that they can learn how to be better leaders in the future.
When you say engagement, what you guys are doing, really? Engaged in politics or some kind of a mock election or mock debate?
Yes, it includes like mock elections and just like discussions between other teens interested in politics and just debating. Also just engaging in volunteering opportunities and just participating in community building activities.
And you are partisan, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, when you say participating, what specifically do you do?
So basically what I do is Mikvah organization has like several events. So what I've done in the past with them is campaign for different candidates in the election, and phone bank. So I would call citizens in America and just sort of help them through the process of voting or telling them to vote for the upcoming election.
You also help in voters registration. Do you?
Not yet. Not yet.
No,
I
not
turned.
yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, how many young people are involved in this? I mean, locally, with your local group, how many are you?
I can't say for sure since MICFA it's located in like Illinois, so it has several different young people involved. It has like a very high number, but I can't name exactly the number.
Oh, and this is all over America?
Yes, several different states.
National organization
Mhm.
or international organization, is it?
Mainly national, but they do work outside the nation occasionally.
Uh, I, do, do you have officers like your group as officers, or you're just all the same in your um, official responsibility?
Oh yeah, it's just it's sort of the MICFA organization has adults. They have certain like responsibilities, but they only make events for teens to participate in. So we just sort of provide our voices and our opinions on political issues and elections.
So, what is your purpose? I mean, what are the purposes of this organization?
They're more specifically to just help teens and youth be heard because I think it's very difficult for children nowadays to have a voice, especially when it comes to dealing with a lot of issues like immigration or racial injustice, the economy. We have a lot of ideas to offer, but it's very hard to talk with people like adults that don't really care about our opinions. So what Mikva does for us is allow us a platform to talk about that and just like share our ideas and solutions to adults.
What are the important issues that you think are affecting your age group?
I think the issues that are affecting my age group are I think the lack of gun control. Um, I think we also need to focus more on funding education rather than um, violence. Like I won't name one specifically, but I think we focus more on militarization for protection of the people and less on education. And I think we really need to focus on educating the children of today so that they can like learn how to be better people tomorrow.
In the future, when you grow up, okay, what do you intend to do? Do you want to pursue um, uh, something in politics, or you want to finish your education by having a traditional career, or go to politics?
Um, so personally, I will be pursuing a career in electrical engineering, but I think when looking for a career, I've always been passionate about melding it with something humanitarian, just like with social justice. So I really want to always try to help the community that I've grown up in um, with whatever I do, whatever it is that I do.
What do you think of some young radical attitude these days? It's because they say it's due to politics. And what do you think of that, of the looting and the radical movements that we have been seeing, and which have been occurring so often these days? What do you think of that?
So in terms of radical teens that are into politics, I think I personally don't agree with a lot of the violence being enforced and ensued into like communities, especially low income ones that haven't really done anything to deserve that treatment. But I think it's just a lot of rage and anger that those minority groups or just other people have. I think it's a very broad issue that shouldn't really be pushed onto one age group. I think it's been like a lot of different people of different ages and different races. So I don't agree with looting, but I think if certain people feel the need to do that, then that's them and this is me. I promote different ideas and procedures for promoting peace.
For promoting peace,
Yeah, and equality.
law and order too, right?
Yeah.
What advice can you give your friends or your schoolmates in your age group about what's going on, about the politics, about our future, your future, most of all? What good advice can you give them?
I think if you really want to be involved in politics and just start educating yourself more, look to the minority groups in your community that probably aren't heard as much. I think if you're someone who has a lot of privilege, try to educate yourself by looking into media or books that are written by minorities. Try to attend a lot of free workshops because I think it's important to not really waste your money, because political education and civic education it shouldn't be costly. It should be free because it's your right to learn that. So education it's never far from you. So always never be afraid to ask questions, never be afraid to look.
Great, terrific. One last word before we sign out. If there's any topic that we forgot to discuss for the young people to do and to follow to maintain peace and order, law and order. Well, what other advice can you give?
I think sometimes there are laws that are not made with the right intentions. So I think there are laws to be upheld, like peaceful ones. But if you think a law is infringing upon your right as a human being, then I think you have every right to argue against it. But as long as you do it peacefully and without violence, because I think we don't need more reason for people to view us as violent people and to ignore us more than they already do. So just try to stand your ground, hold yourself up high, and just never give up on what you need to do.
And Michelle, you came from a family of immigrants, right?
Yes.
And your parents are from where?
They're from Mexico.
Mexico. All right. But were you born here or there in Mexico?
I was born here in America.
You were born here. Well, I think you are such a very young, smart girl. And I think you will be going places with what you're doing in your life and with what you want to do in your life. And I thank you for gracing our show today. And I wish you good luck.
Thank you so much.
To whatever you do to your, you'll be graduating next year, right?
Yes, I will.
Okay. And well, thank you so much. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pananood. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Ako po si Veronica.
Oh, dahan!
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
Good day, this is Janet Jordy at Global Inspiration, where you need to be seen, need to be heard, and be an inspiration to the world. I am so excited for our guest this afternoon because I drove 2.5 hours just to be here in Serena, Illinois to interview our special guest today. I consider her to be the technical mentor for Global Inspiration. Before we started Global Inspiration, I talked to her, and she has a vlog at YouTube. So I asked her about equipments, about spotlights, about camera, about microphone, tripods, and everything, and she walked me through it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Pilar Cambaya Labandero. How are you, Pilar?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
It is such an honor for me to be here in your show, The Global Inspiration.
Thank you, and welcome to Global Inspiration. So, where are you from the Philippines?
I came from Cebu City.
So we speak the same dialect.
Yeah,
Bisaya.
Bisaya.
When do you move from the Philippines to America? What year was that?
It was 2014, August 13.
So when you moved to America, from the Philippines to America, were you working or were you a student?
Yes, I was working in Cebu Mitsumi, in Sabang. Yes, in Danao.
What is that? Is that a restaurant or is that a what is it?
It is I was a assembler.
Okay.
It is like a phone.
Ah, okay, okay.
The camera of your phone, like Apple or Samsung. We did that.
Okay, that's good. That's really, really good job. So how young were you when you moved from the Philippines to America?
I was 25 years old.
So you 25 years old.
Yes.
And how long have you been here in America? If you came 2014,
yes,
that is 6 years, correct?
Yes,
correct.
It is correct.
Correct. So I have a question. So why do you move from the Philippines to America?
I met a foreigner online, and then we decided to process a Q1 visa, and I said yes. It was his idea for that, though. I didn't have any idea about Q1 visa to come here in America. It was just happened. I didn't plan that. I mean, he did it.
Yeah.
He planned it, and I said yes.
Okay.
For Q1 visa, a fiancé visa.
Okay.
And then we processed everything. And then
you moved from the Philippines to America because it was approved. Right?
Yes, and everything went well.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
That's good. So you were married. Did the relationship work?
It didn't work well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry to hear that. So why do you move? I am curious, and I know the viewers are curious. Why you marry someone as mature as your mother? Is it because of financial or economic reasons, or is it because of strong emotional feeling called as love, or what is it?
For me, it's love.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, because you can do everything because of love.
Yeah.
And age doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I like that.
If
I like
your
that.
heart beats
to
be with someone that you really love, you can be with him anytime.
Exactly. And I'm sorry to hear that it did not work. And I know now that you get out from the relationship, and now you are into a new relationship, and you have 2 boys. I understand.
Yes.
So can you tell the name of these boys, the ages, and the unique traits they have?
Yes, my eldest son is Dion Zuriel.
Okay.
And then my second-born son is he is my heart warrior.
Okay.
Yeah, he had the heart surgery when he was 5 months old. Yes, he is Michael Cyril.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So how old are these boys?
Dion is 4 years old and Michael is 2 years old.
So what makes the oldest different than the youngest?
I can say that Dion, he likes to sing.
Okay.
Yes, he likes to sing and he likes to read.
Okay.
Yes, that's what he likes. And then about Michael, he likes to play drums.
Okay.
Yes,
good.
and he likes to play guitar, and also he likes to sing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and also he likes to read.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Michael and Dion likes to read.
That's good. That's good to hear
Yes.
about that. So you've been here in America 2014, and that is 6 years. Can you share with the viewers what are maybe 2 challenges and 2 accomplishments you have?
My 2 challenges, it was the language, and also I had a culture shock. Everything was super hard for me to learn because the culture and the food, especially the food. I am Bisaya, and that's not my first language, the English. So it's so difficult for me to speak English every day. And also the food, because I really miss the Filipino food.
Yeah.
I used to eat everything like lumpia or pancit, and then in here in America, I need to go to Asian store or seafood city. You know that guys in Chicago. Yeah, we need to drive far from here.
Yeah.
So just to get the food that you really wanted to cook, to eat.
So you mentioned about 2 challenges. Can you share with us the 2 accomplishments?
Yes, that's a nice question. My 2 accomplishments, that I know how to drive, and I was so very thankful for my ex-husband because he was the one who taught me how to drive. And the second that I accomplished is that I have my own family. I have my own kids, and I have a partner that's really support me in everything. Yes, I am so very thankful for Ted.
Yeah. So I know you have a vlog, YouTube. You have 2 boys. You have a man in your life now. The name is Ted.
Yes.
And then you have 2 boys, you have Ted, and you have a vlog. Can you share with us your typical day?
My typical day, as usual, taking care of my kids and also doing the vlogs if I have a free time, especially when they are sleeping. That's my free time to make my vlog, and everything just like a normal day, just like a day in my life.
Yeah, because I consider a full-time mother, which you are right now. A full-time mother is the most exhausting career, and yet it is the most fulfilling and the most rewarding one. So congratulations for being a full-time mom. So can you share with the viewers what is the vlog all about?
My vlog is Pilar Vlogs USA. I name it Pilar Vlogs USA because I am here in America, so that my audience will know that I am living in America. And also I am doing vlogs for the YouTube beginners, challenging.
So you've been here since 2014. When was the last time you have visited the Philippines?
Actually, I'm sorry to say that never. I did not go to Philippines. It's been 6 years.
Been 6 years, but it's okay because we have Skype and we have Messenger, and the long distance call is free. You can talk to them. But that's what I keep on telling my husband, that even though there's Messenger, there is Skype, I want to go home because I want to spend time with my family and friends.
Right.
So Pilar, give me one of the things that you missed about the Philippines.
What I missed is my family, and also the people in the Philippines. I really miss them. And also, I miss my church mates in Cebu, in Danao City, Cebu. Can I tell?
Sure, go ahead.
Hello, shout out.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to say hello to my church mates in New Life, Danao. Yes, it's in Cebu.
Okay, so I know I don't like to end this interview, but can you give an inspirational thought or story or to our viewers? Can you share?
Here in America, you need to be strong, you need to be patient, and also you need to be friendly. Because here in America, if you are not alone, if you do not have any friends in here, you cannot solve your problem alone. You need someone to talk to. Especially if you are in a challenging situation, they are really willing to help you.
Thank you very much, Pilar, for that very insightful and thoughtful inspiration. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Pilar Cambaya Lavandero, and this is Janet Jordy of Global Inspiration, where you need to be seen, you need to be heard, and be an inspiration to the world. Thank you very much, at maraming salamat.
We
would like to welcome all of you to Balletner Jewellery. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Balletner Jewellery.
Salamat po! Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Cprtv's latest news. Our headline: General Kwani Raul joined a partisan coalition of 38 attorneys piling amicus brief in a Facebook versus Noah Dugid, a U.S. Supreme Court case that will determine the scope of the protection of Federal Telephone Consumer Protection Act. The case is a key to states' ability to protect residents from scammers who use abusive robocall tactics to threaten them and scam people. Complaints related to robocalls are consistently among the most common consumer calls in my office, says Raul. Robocalls are more than just a nuisance. They are cost consumer time and money, and I have become more pervasive as scammers try to take advantage of the COVID-19 public health crisis. States must be able to take action and collaborate with the federal government to fight this illegal practice and urge the Supreme Court to side with consumers. Following the Pritzker's administration announcement of $140 million in CARES payment to Medicaid providers, the Illinois Department of Healthcare and Family Service is encouraging Medicaid providers to apply for the second round of funding through HFS Care Postal before the deadline of October 31st, 2020. Although we receive hundreds of applications for funding, we know that there are providers out there that still haven't started up the application, said Teresa Eggleston, FHS Director. This pandemic has magnified equities in our health system, and we especially want our community partners in disproportionately impacted areas to apply. Earlier this year, the Illinois General Assembly appropriated funds for coronavirus aid relief. This week, Pritzker administration, the Illinois Department of Revenue, commenced a new outreach initiative to increase earned income credit participation by targeting taxpayers who qualified but paid to claim their credit. The EIC, along with the federal Earned Income Tax Credit, are tools designed to put thousands of dollars back in the pockets of working households. The IDO has identified more than 20,000 Illinois taxpayers who successfully claimed the federal EITC but failed to take the Illinois IIC even though they are automatically qualified. Targeted taxpayers will receive a letter confirming the eligibility, estimating refund amount, and instructing them how to penalize their claim. By rewarding works on supplementing household income, Earned Income Tax Credit Program have lifted millions of families and children out of poverty across the country, said David Harris, IDOR Director. And thank you for watching our latest news from the Cprtv, and I hope you enjoy our program.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. This is Melody, Design Your Health Matters host. And today we will talk about the election 2020. That's right, it's right around the corner. It's about 9 days away, I think. And the election has caused a lot of division, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress for most of us. So let's try to break down what each party means if they were to win, or what the other party means if they were to win. So how do we break it down? So let's talk about what they stand, how and where Trump and Biden stand on COVID-19, reproductive rights, and other healthcare issues. So never before have health topics been so prominent in a presidential election. So let's talk about what they stand for. So October 21st, 2020, oh my God, I am so wrong. Segue. Let's do it again. Okay, here it is. The 2020 election is just days away, and healthcare issues are still at the forefront of voters' concerns, as they have been all year. So the biggest health plan topic isn't a surprise, as we all know, and it's the coronavirus pandemic, which is both a health and economic issue. As the number of cases and deaths continue to rise, and with so much uncertainty about when a vaccine will be approved and widely available, this issue will be with us well into 2021. So President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden have been taking very different positions on how to handle COVID-19 and their plans for the other pressing issues like the future of Affordable Care Act, reproductive rights, skyrocketing drug prices, and reforming Medicare, taking different approaches as well. So on the heels of the final presidential debate, with the early voting and already started in some states, here's a guide to where each candidate stands when it comes to health and healthcare. So COVID-19, the coronavirus has been ranked the second most important issue in the November election behind the economy. So where does Trump stand in this? President Trump has always and mostly delegated the responsibility for COVID-19 to individual states, with the federal government as a backup. In the spring, he signed emergency relief legislation that eliminated out-of-pocket costs for coronavirus testing and eventually for the vaccine. He also had expanded unemployment insurance, boosted the Medicaid federal medical assistance percentage, also known as the FMAP. This is the federal government's share of Medicaid expenditures, by 6.2%, and provided paid sick and extended family and medical leave during COVID-19. Trump also extended the election period for COBRA, which allows laid-off workers to continue their group health insurance coverage by paying full price for the benefits, but his administration provided no subsidies to help pay the premiums, which can be very pricey. So the Trump administration declined to reopen enrollment in Affordable Care Act marketplace plans for the uninsured, and Trump reduced the country's role in the global response to the coronavirus, ending U.S. funding for the World Health Organization and announcing withdrawal from WHO membership. So where does Biden stand? Well, former Vice President Biden believes that the federal government has primary responsibility for a response to COVID-19. Biden, however, proposes expanding federal COVID-19 relief to eliminate out-of-pocket costs for COVID-19 treatment, not just the testing and the vaccine, boosting Medicaid and FMAP by at least 10%, providing additional pay and personal protective equipment to essential workers, further expanding unemployment insurance and sick and family leave, reimbursing employers for sick leave, and providing an employer tax credit for COVID-19 healthcare costs. Biden would also cover COBRA with 100% premium subsidies during the COVID crisis. He would reopen ACA enrollment for the uninsured, re-embrace international engagement, and reverse the decision to defund and withdraw from WHO. So folks, those are two different opposing opinions on how one would carry out the COVID-19 relief program compared to the other. Know that we are not endorsing any any political party. I just wanted to let you guys know what one stands for and how it will affect you. There's still other things that we can discuss, but I will be talking about that in our next segment. So I hope this has helped you a little bit differentiate which one is which versus the other. This is Melody Dizon, your Health Matters host. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
We come to the portion of the show that everybody's waiting for. It's the happy birthday. It's a happy birthday to the following lovely people who are celebrating their birthdays this week. One, Telma Dumpit. She's from the Philippines. Hi, Telma. I hope you see this thing in Tagaytay. Benny Henson. Hi, Benny. Rafael Rivas, who just turned 14. Rivas, Rafael's mom, and Lou Ramos Halloran. And finally, Hapon, our pamangkin, Reynaldo Miranda. Happy birthday, Hapon. This is Joe wishing everybody a happy birthday. And also, don't forget, Happy Filipino-American History Month. Be proud of our heritage and our history. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.